You are sitting in the driveway. The car engine is off, but you are just staring at the steering wheel. Your phone buzzes in the cup holder with a text from her asking when you'll be inside, but you don't want to move. Or maybe you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, while the person you've built a life with sleeps 3 inches away, and yet the distance between you feels like an ocean. Why does this keep happening? Is this just what long-term love turns into? Do I still love her? Or am I just used to the routine? Am I the problem? Here's the thing, man. The relationship didn't get harder because your love faded. It got harder because your safety did. You're not failing at love. This is not a sign that you chose the wrong person. Every couple that has ever loved each other deeply has stood exactly where you're standing right now. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the invisible patterns pulling you apart and exactly how to restore the closeness you think is gone. Let's get into it. Most couples believe that relationships fall apart because of big fights, incompatibility, or simply growing apart over time. But the real truth is deeper. Relationships drift because we stop managing our emotional climate and start managing each other. Your partner's nervous system is reading you before their mind can even catch up. When real emotional safety leaves a relationship, the love doesn't vanish, it just goes underground. What looks like her being constantly frustrated or critical, and what looks like you pulling back and shutting down, isn't incompatibility. It is the classic anxious avoidance cycle playing out in real time. Emotional distance in a relationship isn't like a brick wall. It's like scar tissue that forms slowly over 100 small, unspoken moments that never got repaired. When you try harder by just doing more chores or buying gifts without changing the underlying emotional tone, her nervous system quietly registers it as a performance, causing her to withdraw further. But here's what nobody explains. You both actually want the exact same thing. You want to feel seen, valued, and safe. 1. Trading the tool belt for presence. Most men default to fixing mode the second a partner expresses distress. When she brings up a problem or shares a frustration, your brain immediately looks for a solution because you think that's your job. But beneath the surface, she isn't looking for a mechanic. She's looking for a partner. What's moving through her in those moments is a quiet question. Are you in this with me, or am I alone? The disconnecting approach. Her. I'm just so overwhelmed with everything on my plate right now. You. Well, you need to start saying no to your coworkers and changing your schedule. The connecting approach. Her. I'm just so overwhelmed with everything on my plate right now. You. I hear you, and I can see how much weight you're carrying. I'm right here. What do you need most from me tonight? When you make this shift, something in her says, he doesn't need me to fix this. She just needs me to stay. This isn't a communication hack. This is what it looks like when a man learns to offer his presence instead of just his performance. And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say another word. 2. Recognizing the smoke detector in the room. Here's the part no one talks about. Your nervous system in a conflict is like a smoke detector. It cannot tell the difference between your partner raising her voice because she's hurt and an actual life-threatening danger. So, it sounds the alarm regardless. Most couples get caught in the trap of reacting to the alarm rather than the fire. When she gets sharp or anxious, your default instinct might be to stonewall or walk away to keep the peace. But what looks like stonewalling is usually just a man who has been so overwhelmed for so long that silence feels like his only protection. The disconnecting approach. Her. You never seem to listen to what I'm actually saying. You. Walks out of the room to avoid a fight. The connecting approach. Her. You never seem to listen to what I'm actually saying. You. I'm realizing I'm starting to get defensive, and I don't want to shut out what you're saying. Let me take a second so I can really hear you. Not louder conversations, not more compromising, not scheduling a weekly check-in, but 2 people who actually feel safe enough to be honest with each other for the first time in years. That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a constant negotiation into one that feels like a genuine refuge. 3. Turning toward the small bids for connection. This is where it gets really interesting. Intimacy isn't built in the massive, romantic vacation moments. It's built in the 30-second ones, when you choose to look up. Every single day, your partner throws out small bids for your attention, pointing out a bird outside, sharing a random thought, or sighing heavily. Most people in relationships ignore these small moments because they are busy or distracted. But every ignored bid is a tiny withdrawal from the emotional bank account. The disconnecting approach. Her. Look at how nice the sunset looks tonight. You. Yeah, nice. The connecting approach. Her. Look at how nice the sunset looks tonight. You. Putting the phone completely face down, walking over to stand next to her. Wow, you're right. I'm glad you told me to look up. Her brain is quietly registering, he actually heard me this time. This isn't a trick for avoiding conflict. It's an identity shift into becoming a man who is actively available. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. 4. Rewriting the unspoken script. Most couples carry an unspoken script of old resentments, assuming they already know exactly what their partner thinks and why they do what they do. You assume she's nagging because she wants control. She assumes you're quiet because you don't care. Bro, you have to stop reading the old script if you want a new ending. When you operate from assumption, you respond to the ghost of past arguments rather than the person standing in front of you. The disconnecting approach. You. I already know you're going to complain about how I cleaned the kitchen, so why bother? The connecting approach. You. Hey, I want to make sure I'm helping out in a way that actually takes some weight off your shoulders. Does this layout work for you, or is there a better way? This is how you break the cycles that keep you stuck. What's moving through her is a profound realization. I forgot how good it feels to be chosen and considered. When you drop the script, you allow the relationship to breathe fresh air, turning ancient patterns into opportunities for real repair. 5. Owning your half of the court.
And this is the one most couples never figure out. It is incredibly easy to point at your partner's flaws, her reactions, or her distance, and blame them for the drift. But a relationship is a loop. Your reaction triggers her behavior, and her behavior triggers your reaction. To break the cycle, you have to stop looking across the net and start owning your half of the court. This isn't about taking the blame for everything or admitting defeat. It's about recognizing that you have 100% control over how you show up, regardless of what she does in response. The disconnecting approach. You. I wouldn't shut down if you didn't yell at me all the time. The connecting approach. You. I realize that when things get intense, I tend to pull away and go silent. I know that leaves you feeling lonely, and I want to work on staying engaged even when it's hard. This isn't a behavioral technique. This is just what two emotionally mature people naturally do when they value connection over being right. And when you take responsibility for your emotional wake, you create the space for her to do the exact same thing. This isn't a checklist of chores to check off your list. It's an invitation to show up entirely differently. And that changes everything about what's possible between you and the person you chose. When you internalize these shifts, you stop merely reacting to stress and start responding with intention. And your partner will feel that internal shift before you've even opened your mouth. These aren't just tips for a better marriage or a smoother relationship. They are the very blueprint for becoming the kind of grounded, emotionally mature partner you always wanted someone to be for you. Real intimacy doesn't start when you finally find the perfect person. It starts when you decide to become one.